Today's class we are going to learn about modern machining processes. So, as the modern technology increases and it improves, latest technologies are developing. Here that modern machining processes are not like that. In conventional machining methods also we are having modern technologies, but under modern machining processes we are learning about the processes which are not economical or some other comparatively with conventional machining methods may have certain disadvantages. In such a case we are going for this modern machining processes. Right. Now, when we go for a different conventional methods, we had certain disadvantages. So, to overcome this we are going for this modern machining processes, and also nowadays as I told you that technology is improving. We know that space technologies, rockets, shuttles, shuttling, all these things are improving, and even in aerospace, rocket launchings etc., which needs a good strength of materials or good quality of materials, high hardness etc. is required, like wasp alloys, mnemonics etc. Some specialized alloying materials are required. In such a case, to machine those type of things, those type of recent developed materials, of course the materials nearly most of the materials were developed after Second World War, where new materials have developed. To machine those things we need this modern machining methods or modern machining process. The other way it is also called as unconventional methods of machining or non-traditional machining processes or non-traditional machining methods. So, either unconventional or non-traditional or modern machining process, all are same. Now, let us see that why we have to choose this non-traditional or unconventional or modern machining processes. That means there must be some advantage compared to the conventional machining processes. So, now let us see what will happen in a conventional machining process, then we will see So, in today's class let us discuss about what is the difference between conventional and unconventional, either any advantages and limitations are there, then different types of modern machining methods, and one of that we will study it. Right. Now, what is the conventional machining process? So, here the conventional machining process, it is not economical. So, whatever this is not economical, it is related to compared to the unconventional machining process, that is the modern machining process, but it is not actually to go for all the conventional machining processes are not economical. This is compared, we are comparing both conventional and unconventional. So, the first one is when the machining in conventional machining is not economical, then we choose to the unconventional machining, that is the products or the material which are not economical in conventional machining, then we go for unconventional machining. The next one is it produces poor degree of accuracy and surface finish. So, when under conventional machining, if it produces poor conditions of machining, then we go for degree of accuracy or whatever it may be, then we go to the unconventional machining. The next one is it is slow. When conventional process is slow, then we go to the unconventional machining process. Next, it induces undesirable stress in the material. So, what happens is when we go for a conventional machining process, we find certain stresses will be developed in the material, and to avoid that material or to relieve that material, again we have to go for heat treatment techniques etc. So, in such a case again it becomes certain cost, high cost, etc. cost will be increased. To avoid that, you can go for this type of things. So, for these purposes, under these disadvantages of conventional processes, we go for unconventional machining processes. Right. Now, let us see the difference what we cannot get in the conventional machining process that can be get here in this unconventional machining process. Right. What are those things? In unconventional machining, also called as non-traditional machining, as I already told you. Here, cutting tool is not necessarily harder than workpiece material. So, in conventional machining, cutting tool will touch the workpiece, and generally we go for harder cutting tool compared to the work piece material, but here there may be in touch or may not be touch. So, in such a case, if the cutting tool is not touching the workpiece, then we need not bother about the hardness of the cutting tool relative to work material. Next point, properties of workpiece material are no barriers. So, whatever the workpiece material are there, any type of material, whether whatever the mechanical properties, whether ductile or ductility or toughness, etc., it does not have any impact on the machine. And further, another point is the metal removal is low. So, in this case the metal removal is low, but the material removed is a harder material, not limited by the properties of the material, same as in the previous case, can produce any intricate shape on any workpiece material by suitable control, can produce any intricate shape, complicated shapes which does not have a uniform or conventional shapes on any workpiece material, that is either hard material or hard and tough and brittle and any type of material with suitable control. Again, the control is also there. So, not without a control. The another point is difficulty to machine materials. So, under conventional machine process, whatever the material is difficulty, that material can be machined in this particular unconventional. Next, economic production. So, under unconventional, economic production can also be maintained, so that the cost of the production will be right. And complex shapes, whatever the shapes cannot, which shapes cannot be machined in conventional, we can go for. And time consuming, whenever you go for consuming of time in conventional methods machining process, then we go for unconventional machining, so that we can reduce the time. Sometime impossible to machine, that is, in case of conventional machining, it may not be machined that due to its hardness or some of its properties. In such a case, through unconventional machining process, we can machine that particular material. Next one is relatively good applications. So, compared to the conventional machining, it have good applications and good degree of variations as to their applications on different workpiece materials. Good degree of variation. So, variation in machining can be made in these different workpiece materials. So, we can go for different workpiece materials with different applications. Next one is workpiece size and shape. So, here there is no question of limitations in workpiece size and shape, as in the case of conventional machining, we have seen that the sizes and machining tools, etc., even for example, if we take a conventional, when the size of the workpiece is more, then we have to go for more size of the machine, which costs more, whereas here that can be avoided. So, these are the relative advantages compared to the conventional machining. So, with all these conventional machining, unconventional machining advantages, we prefer this modern machining methods of this process under when it is not advisable to go in conventional machining processes. Right. Now, we have seen all these things, whether is it they are to be decided on this, or with some other any other aspects that we have to take when we have to take this particular material. So, what are the comparisons, other aspects of the comparison of materials that we will take in unconventional machining. So, with regards to material removal rate. So, the comparison is with material removal rate. What we said is material removal rate may be less in unconventional machining, but whereas compared in a conventional it is not possible. So, in such a case where material removal rate is one of the aspect, the comparison can be made for conventional and unconventional. Next, power consumed, accuracy. So, whatever the accuracy we need, surface finish, that can be achieved. That is material removal rate that can be achieved, power consumed that can be achieved, accuracy that can be achieved, surface finish that can be achieved. Based on these things, we will compare these things. So, whatever the comparison that I have given in the previous slides, that depends on these 4 aspects, and based on that we will go for making different comparisons, and then we will select what type of unconventional methods or modern machining process that we have to take. Right. Now, we have seen certain comparisons and find that the advantages are very good compared to the conventional machining. So, when we go for advantages, only is there advantage or is there any limitations, any disadvantages are there? Let us see. So, definitely there will be disadvantages. So, what are the limitations? They do not offer best solutions for all applications, only be viewed as complementing the conventional metal removing methods. So, they do not offer best solutions for all applications. In all applications it is not a best, only be viewed as complementing the conventional metal removing methods. So, compared to the conventional, it is better but not best. It is better but not a best. Next, these processes are not to be considered as replacement for conventional method of machining. So, this is only a complementing, but it is not totally replacement. It is comparatively good, but it is not a totally replaced. So, that means when we go for modern machining methods, we cannot say that conventional methods are not there. It is there, but compared to that these the things are more advantage. So, with these limitations, let us go for the. So, we have seen what is unconventional machining and how it can be done. Right. Is there any classifications? Is there any classifications? So, if yes, how? So, according to the nature of energy employed in a machining, that is the classification can be done according to the nature of energy employed in a machining. So, what type of energy is going to give? So, first one is mechanical energy, thermal and electrothermal energy, chemical and electrochemical energy. So, based on these 3 processes, we can go for different types of modern machining methods, 3 types of energies. Right. Now, we will see what are different processes and how many classification that we can do. First one is what are the thermal and electrothermal methods of unconventional machining. So, what happens in this? The thermal energy is employed to melt and vaporize tiny bits of work material by concentrating, here the spelling is a mistake, the concentrating the heat energy on a small area of workpiece. So, how this machining done? Thermal energy, that is heat energy which is employed. So, that due to that heat material will melt, workpiece material will melt, and so that it vaporizes. How it vaporizes? Tiny bits, very small bits of work material. How? By concentrating the heat energy on small area of workpiece. That means total heat is concentrated on a small area, so that we will get more heat, so that the material removal will take place. This is the principle of electrothermal or thermal. Now, let us see what are the types of in this. By continued repetition of this process, the required shape is machined. So, we are concentrating this on small area, like that we have to go for repetition. So, number of times we have to go and do it, so that whatever the machining, that curves or metal removal will we want, that can be done in this particular process. right. Next, let us see what are the mechanical energy, based on mechanical energy, what are the things, right. What are the mechanical methods of non-conventional machining? The material is principally removed by mechanical erosion of the workpiece material. So, this is the principle. The material is principally mainly removed by mechanical erosion, that is like wear. So, here we are not calling it as metal removal, but no doubt it is a metal removal, but it is called erosion, just like wearing, erosion of the workpiece material. The different types under mechanical is ultrasonic machining, abrasive jet machining and water jet machining. These are the different machining methods under mechanical energy unconventional methods. Now, let us see what are different mechanisms or different machining processes in a electrochemical, electrothermal and thermal things. So, first one is electrical discharging machine, it is called EDM, laser beam machining LBM, plasma arc machining PAM, electron beam machining EBM, ion beam machining IBM. So, these are the different machining processes under thermal and electrothermal machining process. Now, let us go for another thing based on chemical energy, that is chemical as well as electrochemical. So, what are the chemical and electrochemical methods of unconventional machining? So, its principle is involve a controlled etching or anodic dissolution of the workpiece material in contact with the chemical solution, involve a controlled etching. So, this is etching means again it is nothing but a removal process. So, machining methods means metal removal. So, etching it is a chemical these things. So, etching or anodic dissolution. So, it dissolves in the solution of the workpiece material in contact with the chemical solution. So, when it is in contact with chemical solution, etching will take place, so that material removal will take place. This is the principle of a chemical or electrochemical unconventional method of machining process. Now, let us see what are the different types of machining process in a chemical and electrochemical. So, first one is chemical machining. So, in this again chemical machining we are having chemical grinding as well as milling. Electrochemical machining ECM, electrochemical grinding ECG, electrochemical honing ECH, electrochemical deburring. So, in this chemical machining we are having chemical milling as well as chemical grinding also, there two processes are. So, these are different processes under different energies based on that. Now, which process we have to select? So far we have seen in mechanical energy 3 processes, electrical some 6 processes or 5 processes and another 5 in chemical. So, totally we are having nearly 10 to 15. Which is to be selected? What type of process is to be selected? When it is to be selected? So, for that selection we need certain criteria and based on that we have to select. So, now let us see how to select a particular process. So, when we have taken certain particular workpiece, how to select. So, the suitability of any of the unconventional machining process for any specific applications should be judged from the standpoint of. So, what is that? The suitability. So, which process that we have to take? That is suitability of any of the unconventional machining process for any specific applications. Any specific applications, any specific materials, how to select? Increase the reliability of the process. So, what is the reliability of the process? Better quality assurance. So, with that process we have to get good or better quality, then we select those out of those processes, and its ability to machine workpiece which cannot be easily machinable by conventional method. Its ability to machine workpieces which cannot be easily machinable by conventional methods. So, that means which is easily cannot be machined by conventional method, then we take that. Out of that which is good, which gives us more assurance, quality assurance, as well as whatever the advantage that we have seen in a unconventional process, all those things will be there. Then we select those type of product, the type of a process, right. Now, let us come to the each one by one. The first one is under mechanical energy. Under mechanical energy, we are having ultrasonic machining, water jet machining and abrasive jet machining. So, we are having only ultrasonic machining. Now, let us see what is ultrasonic machining. So, what is ultrasonic? So, these are nothing but the ultrasonic is a specialized process. It is a specialized process. Now, let us see. It is a very specialized metal removing process. Ultrasonic machining process is a process in which a cutting tool oscillates at high frequency, that is about 20 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz in an abrasive slurry. The tool has the same shape as the cavity to be machined. So, ultrasonic machining USM is a process in which cutting tool oscillates at very high frequency. So, this very high frequency about 20 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz, which is not audible for us, for us human ear, we cannot hear these things. So, these are inaudible waves are under this frequency, where in an abrasive slurry. So, in abrasive slurry and this frequency with this oscillation, we will get the metal removal. The tool has the same shape as the cavity to be machined, whereas in conventional machining methods the tool does not have the same shape, but here we have to see that whatever the cavity or whatever the curve that we need, the same type of cavity or the same type of curve should be produced on the cutting tool. Then we will get the same type of profile or curve, right. Now, let us see how the process is going on. So, I told you that it will oscillate. So, how it oscillates, what is the mechanism that it came, and how amplitude that is, how it oscillates, how the conversion of the energy takes place from electrical to, and how do we get high frequency, all these things will be known. So, let us see how this process will be. So, the high speed oscillations of the tool drive the abrasive grains across small gap of about 0.02 to 0.002 to 0.1 mm against the workpiece. That is high speed oscillations. The oscillations are very high, and these oscillations of the tool drive the abrasive grains. So, what happens is, in between the workpiece and cutting tool, you will have a gap. How much gap? 2 by 1000, that is in 1000 two parts, that is 2 by 1000 to 0.1 mm against the workpiece. In between this gap, abrasive grains or abrasive particles will flow. So, when this abrasive particles flows and this, because of these oscillations, we will get the metal removal. So, the impact of the abrasive slurry is uniquely responsible for the material removal. So, here what is happening is, in this case oscillations is there as well as abrasives are also flowing. So, out of these two, what is the impact for material removal? The abrasive is uniquely responsible, that is, because of the abrasive particles the material is removed, right. Next, the method is chiefly employed to machine hard and brittle materials which are either electrically conducting or non-conducting. That is chiefly, primarily employed to machine hard and brittle materials, hard as well as brittle materials which are either electrically conducted or non-conducted. It might be conduction of electrical or non-electrical, because here that does not arise. So, whether it is conduction or non-conductive, it does not matter. So, this is how the process of metal removal takes place. Now, let us see what is the principle of USM, how the principle was, right. Here ductile and tough tool is made to vibrate. So, we said with oscillations, very high frequency oscillations are there. So, if that oscillations are made by tool, what is that tool? Ductile as well as tough. Next, continuous flow of an abrasive slurry. So, the abrasive slurry should continuously flow from in between tool and a workpiece. Tool is gradually fed with uniform force. So, feeding should be given with uniform force. Impact of the hard abrasive grains causes metal removal in the form of a slurry. So, what is hard abrasives? What are the abrasive particles that we are going to give, that will give the metal removal. Because of that only metal removal takes place. And the most abrasives, what are the abrasives using? Are silicon carbide, boron carbide, aluminum oxide or corundum, diamond, etc. These are the abrasives used. And chemical action associated with the fluid also one of the reason of the metal removal. Chemical action associated with the fluid also. So, this is an assumption, or the people thinking this may be one of the reason, chemical action, because here we are taken some abrasive slurries and some chemicals we are in the slurry. So, that due to that chemical action also some material is being removed, that is also one of the assumption, but it may not be correct in all the cases. Right. Now, let us see how this principle of USM. So far I have explained how it. Now, if you see here, this is how this is a oscillating tool, it oscillates, and here if you see, this is the abrasive slurry, it comes through this and goes to in this direction, and here it oscillates. When it oscillates, it comes to here and goes to here. Because of this oscillations, so here you can see certain contour or certain curve is here. So, because of this the metal removal takes place. So, this is workpiece. What happened? The cavity we have got it. So, what the shape whatever that is there, that we will get it here, right. Now, here you can see this is how it vibrates, and when it vibrates, here the abrasive slurry will flow from here to here. So, when it flows, these abrasive particles whatever here it is there red color, this comes here, because of that abrasion you can find the metal removal. So, this is how the principle of USM takes place. Now, let us see about assumptions. So, what is this assumptions? We said some oscillations are there, it is moving. So, everything should be same, always the same oscillations, always the same impact of the abrasive particles, because the abrasive particles may have certain sizes may be varied. In such a case metal removal might be changed. That is why generally we have to go for certain assumptions. So, what are those assumptions? The first one is rate of removal is proportional to the volume of work material per impact frequency of vibration of a tool. So, how much amount of material is removed? So, that is rate of removal is proportional to the volume of the work material per impact. So, per impact, that is for one oscillation, what is the impact it is there? Based on that, if the impact is more, material removal is more, if the impact is less, material removal is less, and frequency of the vibration of the tool. If the frequency of the vibration is more and the metal removal is more, and it is less and the metal removal is less. The next point is number of particles making impact per cycle. In one cycle, how many particles are striking or contacting the workpiece? Based on that, how much amount of material is removed in a particular, in one cycle, how much contact or how much impact is it is making. Next, all impacts are identical. So, here we said making impacts per cycle, but number of cycles may be there, number of impacts may be there in a cycle, but whether they are identical or not. So, in some cases it may not be, but our assumption is we are assuming that they are identical. The next one is all abrasive grains are spherical and identical in a shape. All abrasive grains are spherical and identical in a shape. So, all abrasive grains whatever that we have taken here, they are spherical and identical in shape. So, with all these assumptions we can go for different types of machining process. So, that otherwise generally some small variations might be there that cannot be considered. That is why we have made these assumptions. Right. Now, we have seen the principle of USM. Now, let us see what are the elements of USM. So, elements of USM means we said oscillations, abrasive slurry, workpiece, So, how the oscillations will make? How do you get oscillations of the tool and how the slurry flows? For this we need certain elements to get that particular mechanism. So, let us go for elements of ESM. The first one is generator, velocity transducer. Next one is tool holder, abrasive slurry and tool. Here generator which generates. So, for oscillating we need certain energy. So, that energy, whatever the electrical energy that we are going to produce, that may not be sufficient, that is not gives us oscillation. So, in that case we have to change the energy from one form to another, so that this electrical energy should be converted into the frequency or to the vibrating energy. So, for that we have to made into high frequency. In such a case we need this generator and velocity transducer, and to hold the tool we need tool holder and abrasive slurry, which is mainly purpose main purpose of removal of the metal, and the tool which is in the form of the shape of the cavity or the machine which we need. Now, let us see this figure how this happens right here. Ultrasonic generator, velocity transducer, tool head, tool holder, this is the tool, workpiece, fixture, slurry tank, abrasive slurry and this cooling system. Here if you see ultrasonic generator, for this power supply will be given, whatever our power supply is there, through that we will get the power supply. Here the high, in this ultrasonic generator, whatever this electrical energy is there, that can be converted with lower frequencies there, that can be converted into higher frequency and gives to the transducer. In the transducer it gives the it converts this energy into or amplifies and makes the tool to vibrate. So, for this purpose these two are needed, and here this is tool head, and in this tool holder is there, in this tool holder tool is there. This tool will have the vibrations in this motion, and here this is workpiece which is placed on the fixture, and here whatever the cavity that we need, that can be produced here, and the abrasive slurry is flowing through this, and as in the principle we told the small gap will be there. So, here it is a tank, in this abrasive slurry is there. So, when it is going on vibrating, this abrasive slurry goes in between the gap between workpiece and the tool, and metal removal takes place. But meanwhile, when we go for machining, this abrasive slurry because of machining, heat will be generated. Because of that, this slurry, abrasive slurry will get heated. In such a case we will go for a cooling system, so that this abrasive slurry which is in a heated condition or hot temperature, it can be cooled through the pumps, two pumps, and refrigerated system will be maintained here, so that we can maintain this abrasive slurry from 5 to 6 degrees of temperature, so that we will get and here I said it is a constant feeding should be given, it vibrates, as well as when certain material removes here, then again we have to give the feeding. So, if you give the feeding here, then tool slowly comes somewhat downwards. Again like that we go on making this into whatever the shape. So, this is a different mechanism, different elements are there. Now, let us see one by one how we have to go for what is the generator and how it helps. Now, you can see another elements of ESM here. Here it is the previous one is block diagram. Here you can see the difference we have given in different things, transducer, excitation coil, that is the here transducer which works on magnetostriction principle. So, for that excitation coil will be there, because of that only we are going to get this vibrations, and the cone, cooling water, and all this is and here if you see how the work, these are the abrasive particles, this is the tool tip. So, here this is the tool is having in this type of shape, the same type of workpiece also we are going to get in the same shape. So, how the chips are producing, that is very less number or less amount or less size of the material. So, this is how we go for different another diagram you can see how this ESM acts here, transducer, mechanical amplifier and a tool, workpiece, this is the pump and this is a slurry tank and electrical power generator to give it this is another type of mechanism or elements of ESM. Right. Now, let us go quickly each part individually how it works. The first one is generator. So, what it will do? Consists of an electronic oscillator and amplifier which converts the available electrical energy of low frequency to high frequency power. So, consists of an electronic oscillator and amplifier which converts the available electrical energy of low frequency to a high frequency. So, in the first case itself we told high frequency 20 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz. So, whatever the ordinary power we are going to give is does not have that much of frequency. So, in such a case what is this generator will do? It increases the frequency of the this frequency of generator tool. Next, power rating 2 to 2.5 kilowatts. So, this power generator will be rating of 2 to 2.5 kilowatts, and now you can see this is the figure of generator which produces this or converts from lower frequency to higher frequency thing. And now, next one is velocity transducer, vibrates at the frequency of applied voltage, vibrates at the frequency of applied voltage. So, it vibrates. What will happen in the velocity transducer? It vibrates. How? At the frequency of applied voltage. Works on the principle of magnetostriction. So, this velocity transducer works on the principle of magnetostriction. What is magnetostriction? Magnetized rod with coil wrapped around it in which voltage is induced. That means, a rod is there, it is magnetized and around that coil will be wound, so that it induces the current. So, because of that it moves, and again when it was stopped or it comes again backward. So, when it comes backward because of the polarity of change, again it comes to that, so that the vibrating motion of the thing will be takes place. On returning to its original position, the bar induces the voltage of opposite polarity, helping the movement of the tool holder and tool. So, here voltage induced so that it comes in one direction, and in another opposite direction. On returning to its original position, the bar induces the voltage of opposite polarity, helping the movement of the tool holder and tool. So, that we will get two types of motions, so causing vibrations, and these are the transducers, either magnetostriction or piezoelectrical. Two types of things are here. These are the transducers which we will apply here. Next is tool holder. So, what is tool holder? Holds the tool firmly, which holds the tool. Transfer the vibration to the tool. So, here from transducer the vibration should go to the tool. So, that goes through via tool holder. Generally, it is of cylindrical or conical shape. So, the tool holder will have cylindrical shape or conical shape. Now, next one is a tool. So, what is tool? So, tool is hello? Hello? Hello?
I am a student from GPTC Master Bank, sir.
Yes.
I have a small doubt, sir.
Yes, ask. What is your question?
I want to ask that instead of using a generator, can't we use a motor?
Okay. Here in a generator means here what is that we require is the frequency should be changed. In power, whatever the supply that we are going to give, that gives us less frequency, but we need 20 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz. and whenever we take a motor, it does not give that much of frequency and it may not be useful for that. What is that we need is in ordinary power AC, what is that we are giving is frequency is 50 hertz, but what is that we need 20,000 to 30,000 kilohertz. So, in such a case we are going to take this generator. So, in case if the motor is given that you can take, but as I know, I think that motor is not good, it may not give. And coming to the another thing, tool, it is made of ductile material. For example, what are those ductile material? Carbon steel or stainless steel. Shape is similar to the component to be machined. So, what is the shape of the tool? It is similar to the machine or component workpiece what is to be there, and should not be too long. So, here the material, the workpiece the tool should not be long, because when it is more in length the stresses will be developed more. When the stresses are developing on the tool, then failure of the tool will take place. So, that is why we are not going to take this tool length is limited, short tools we are going to take. Next one is abrasive slurry. So, what is this abrasive? Should have abrasive grains of fastest cutting action. So, whatever the grains that we are going to take, they should have the fastest cutting action. Next, boron carbide is the most commonly used. So, in these abrasive particles, boron carbide is the most commonly used, and the other materials that are used common are aluminum oxide, silicon carbide, diamond, etc. And this abrasive slurry is circulated by a pump. This abrasive slurry is circulated by a pump, and refrigerated cooling system may be provided, as I told, because the heat is generated while machining, so that this abrasive slurry gets heated, so that refrigerated cooling system may be provided, so that we will get different types of the temperature may be brought into 5 to 6 degrees. Now, let us go for advantages of USM. So, particularly it is having advantage in drilling holes. So, what are these drilling holes? Circular and non-circular holes can be drilled in very hard and brittle materials. So, circular and non-circular holes, it can be done in very hard and brittle materials, that is stones and carbides, etc. It can be very useful. Exceptionally brittle materials, that is glass and ceramics, sapphires, etc. also it can be used. Very small size, that is very small size of holes are there. In such a case, we go for this type of things. Next is very little heat is generated during the machining. So, the metal removal at per stroke or per vibration is less, then it is machining is heat is generated is less. Safety is ensured in operation of the machine, as the metal removal rate is less, and the metal what is that called it is only wearing, so that safety, the chips etc. may not injure. No toxic fumes are produced. Cost of material removal is low compared to the conventional machining, it is low. And now, let us see, these are the advantages. Is there any disadvantages? Definitely there will be a disadvantage. What are those? Rate of metal removal is low, rate of material removal is low. In this case, rate of material removal is low, but compared to the conventional, it can be removed, but in conventional it may not be removed. The second one is softer materials are difficult to. So, in the first case we said hard and brittle materials can be machined. So, softer materials will have a certain problem. Wear rate of tool is high. So, here continuously impact is there, so that the tool will immediately or fastly it loses its life, and so that we have to change it or to reshape it again, it costs. Now, let us see the last topic of applications of ultrasonic machining. So, where these applications, where the ultrasonic will be used? All machining operations on all materials which can be treated suitably with abrasives. All machining operations. So, whatever conventional machining, that is grinding, turning, lathe, drilling, whatever that we are using, everything can be done here with all the materials suitably with abrasives. that is, here the limitation is whether that abrasive is suitable for that particular material. We can do for any material and any type of a machine. Next, hole making in hard and brittle materials. In hard and brittle materials, hole making can be done. Tool and die making. In tool and die making, we go for machining semiconductor ferrites. So, when the material is of semiconductor ferrites, we go for it. Next is coining of glass and ceramics and glass. Minute holes can be made in teeth without causing any pain. This is in case of dentistry, that is, for human beings, minute holes in our teeth, human teeth, that can be done. Shaping of precious stones like jewelry. Now, you can see here different types of applications of USM: slot cutting, cutting large disc, machining along a complex profile. So, complex profile, turning, surface grinding, cutting with a strip tool. All these things are applications of USM with different things which cannot be done in this. So, now you can see different types of latest machines which are used, and these are the different machines. This is the part which inside the ultrasonic, whatever this frequency changing etc. will go for this. So, here you can see this is the application ultrasonic drill, how the small tiny hole is going to be made. These are the transducers in advanced, all these are the latest things. This is atomizing of the metal, innovative developments of different USM, and this is a small filtration, that is holes, and here powder compactation. All these things are later, and here this is ultrasonic and these are the latest machinings. So, with all these things, here you can see some reactor tubes particularly useful in this space shuttle or rockets etc. So, these are different applications of ultrasonic machining. So, in today's class so far we have studied the difference between conventional machining and unconventional machining, and comparison on what aspects that it can be comparison, and what are different types of tools, the different types of processes that we are going to use based on different types of energies, and which process that we have to select, and then we have studied about ultrasonic machining, its principle, its process, and its applications, advantages and disadvantages.